This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details. Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barreiro's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
Guards, you'll be back tomorrow when we broadcast from the exclusive KFAN Radio Perch TCO Performance Center. Hopefully the weather will be better than it was today, although I have not really checked. Kevin O'Connell will be among our guests on the Perch. I eagerly wonder what gift he might bring. Last year it was that fancy, I can't remember the name of that water. It was very, very highfalutin. It's not, way beyond Evian and some of the waters that some people think are hoity-toity. Who knows what he'll bring this year. We're all looking forward to that visit. So Brett Blakemore is in the chair today because Guardsy is still tracking the Golden Gopher football team as they are unveiled at the end. I think today might be the last day of Big Ten Media Days in Vegas, Nevada. Where would you like to begin?
Just funny how that works. Tomorrow's the first day of training camp. Today's boring in-studio show. Yeah. Guardsy nowhere to be found.
Isn't that funny?
Tomorrow, out of the Perch.
Exciting, and there he is.
Guardsy's back.
Suddenly he's okay.
Funny.
He's got time for the show.
Amazing. That's really where we're going, the entire top 5 at 5, except for a late Twins update. But it is day 1 of training camp for most teams. Here's Dane Mizutani, who covers the Vikings. Here's his day 1 takeaways.
Okay.
J.J. McCarthy demonstrated his arm strength on a deep touchdown pass, which you already mentioned, to Jordan Addison.
Cannon of an arm.
No holdout for Josh Metellus. He was a full participant.
That's good to know.
And Ivan Pace Jr. and Van Ginkel both had pick sixes. Now,
who threw the pick sixes? Do we know?
That's the $1 million question.
I think Howell was one of them. Pretty sure one of them was already established as our backup.
It'd be a better bid if it was JJ.
It would, and we've already predicted on this show that by the end of training camp, by the start of the regular season, your backup quarterback is going to be Max Brosmer. That's going to be one of your juicy stories that develops over the course of camp, because there's not a lot of not a lot of intrigue at a number of places, right? We got a lot of players who we know are going to be big parts of this, whether it's good or bad. They're going to play. But the backup quarterback, we brought in Howell to do it. He's got experience to do it. Don't sleep on Max Brosmer. That's all I'm going to say.
NFL Network, you don't have a TV in there, but NFL Network is torturing me replaying the Packers losing to the Eagles in the playoffs. I just have to sit and watch
That's on right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ugh.
That's unfortunate.
The Bears, they had their first practice today, and this was a tweet from something called Adam Hoagie, I'm going to go with.
Hoagie?
He's a Bears, I believe,
Bears
podcaster.
insider. All right.
Yeah, he was at training camp. First Bears practice in the books, and there were some growing pains.
Ooh.
Ben Johnson got on Caleb in the first team multiple times and eventually pulled the entire unit in 7-on-7s after they couldn't get lined up twice in a row.
Ugh. Well, the word on the street is that whether it's calculated or necessary, or maybe both, that Johnson's definitely going scorched earth early. That they're like they're basically breaking down every aspect of, including the footwork of the quarterback, and he's starting as the new sheriff in town. That's the approach. Do the Bears need it? Maybe. Is he doing it for effect? That's also possible. We shall see, but we shall see. But it is instructive. I don't know what to make of this. Like the Bears, I heard PA talking about this, that their practice was like, I think, between 8:30 and 10 this morning. Meanwhile, we waited until what at least on paper was going to be the hottest time of the day. Then ultimately we got washed out to go inside anyway. But I'm wondering, and maybe we'll talk to KOC about this, what the thinking is. Because, logically, there'd be a part of me that says, get in, get out. Get in early. Less chance it's going to be as hot. But I don't know if this is part of the KOC, year 2 of we want to be more physical and we want to be more mentally and physically prepared, and we're actually trying to challenge people physically in a way we haven't before. I don't know what that's all about. But And for all I know, the Vikings, there are other days they'll practice early, too. I don't know. Maybe they just mix and match depending on the day. I think they're practicing tomorrow afternoon because I think that's why we're out there again. Is the forecast the same for tomorrow as it was today?
That's a good question. While I'm looking that up, I actually think it's the opposite. I think it's a team player coach where we'll let them sleep in a little bit. You don't have to get up at 7 a.m.
Trying to soft.
You don't have to do that.
That's going soft on them, isn't it?
Well, that's kind of how I read it. Tomorrow will be partly cloudy, 84 with a 15% chance of rain.
Yeah.
So not terrible, not great.
Yeah. Not as the less corn sweat tomorrow. Is that what you're telling me, or is it still pretty humid?
Of corn sweat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you really want, I could go down that road.
Very true, David.
Let's see. Humidity 54%. That's what it says. Tomorrow at 3.
Is that right?
Good luck.
Okay.
I've been giving this story a lot of time just because I can't believe, and it's a slight development, but I think it's interesting. So Joe Burrow was asked about the Trey Hendrickson situation today at their first day of training camp. And he says that everything you'd want to say, obviously disappointing. You'd like to have all of our guys out there day one and try to build that cohesion that I was talking about earlier. That's not how it usually works out. You know, it's a business, and and now it's gone, I believe it says. Or that's how it's gone.
So he sounds like he's not pleased with the, it's easy for you to read.
Yeah, I know.
It sounds like he's not feeling very good about that circumstance, right? I mean, it sounds like he's not very happy about it.
The defense was hideous last year for the Bengals, and you don't sign your best guy.
Again, I think this all depends on how quickly it gets resolved. And if it gets resolved first week, it'll be a forgotten story. It may well be, though, on the basis of how far apart. Who knows? The Bengals management is the wild card in this. I think the player himself sounds pretty committed to saying, I'm not going to mess with this if you're not going to be serious. And it doesn't appear so far that the offers that have been made are particularly serious. On the part of the Bengals. So, I don't know, because everybody's assuming because of Burrow largely that they're going to put they're one of the teams that's likely to bounce right back because they missed the playoffs last year, didn't they? I think they did.
On the last day,
yeah. Exactly. There had a lot of things had to happen and didn't. And Burrow, there are people who thought Burrow should have been the MVP. I don't buy that, but he's obviously had a very good season, another very good season.
Statistically, it was really good.
It was good. You're right.
And finally, the announcement that we didn't think we needed, but we got anyways. The New York Giants don't have any plans for a quarterback controversy. Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback. The head coach, Brian Daboll, said, these guys will be out here competing, but Russ is our starter. Obviously, they have Jameis Winston. They drafted Jackson Dart. But Russell Wilson will be your starter. Will he be the starter December 21st at MetLife Stadium against the Minnesota Vikings?
Who else have they got?
Well, they got Jameis, famous Jameis.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And they drafted Jackson Dart.
Yeah, that's true. I think knowing the way the Giants have screwed up that position, there's a good chance he won't be the starter by then as well. That's a team. That's an example of how, a lot of people think we're deeper in the league at quarterback than we've been in a while, but there's still some QBs that are either past it or you're just hoping. And he's one of them. Aaron Rodgers, quite frankly, is one of them as well. There are several of those. Dodgers 2, Twins 1. Looks like the Twins, is it the top of the 8th?
Top 8, Buxton at the plate right now.
So good. Honey of a pitcher's duel in the rubber game of the series, but we're going to need to get something done offensively. By the way, your guy Lewis continues to stay hot. He responsible for our only run with a dong in the 3rd. Ohtani had a dong in the 1st, and then the Dodgers broke the tie. Looks like with a single scoring Freeman, and that's the difference in the ball game. Twins-Dodgers. Twins start the day with a record of 49-52, and I'll say again, if you're concentrating on the fact that we're only 4 or 5 games out of the last wild card spot, you're missing the thread, or you're missing, I guess, the overall, which is they've got about 5 or 6 teams ahead of them, and that just ain't going to add up. We're going nowhere. Stop pretending that we are. So now all we have, trade deadline's not that far off. So now it's just a matter of seeing whether we will indeed pull the trigger. We got Kessler scheduled for the bottom of the hour a lot to get into with him. And we got a couple of other housekeeping items to get to between 5:15 and 5:30. Don't go away.
Before we go, the fan and bigdeck.com. I'm going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks to the National Catch Contest. Head to KFAN.com. The keyword is grand. The keyword grand. KFAN.com. Keyword grand. Minneapolis, get ready. Music legend Paul McCartney is bringing his Got Back tour to U.S. Bank Stadium October 17th. Tickets on sale now. One night, one icon. Don't miss it. Full details available. KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Is it possible that if pro football didn't exist or never existed, that Major League Baseball would not have declined in popularity to the degree that it, relatively speaking, compared to the good old days, has? I guess that's possible. I just don't think there's anything. I mean, again, if it didn't exist, obviously something would have to fill the void because we wouldn't know what we were missing, right? If you don't know what you're missing, it's hard to talk about this in any real way because we know what we think we'd be missing if pro football did not exist. So it might help baseball a little bit. It might help college football a little bit in towns like this one. I don't know. I think about, you think about the LA market that, for years didn't have pro football teams. Now they've got a couple again. I mean, they got along fine. They survived it. A lot of people thought LA is so vast and so big and so much to do that hardly anyone noticed. But I'm thinking of a market like this without pro football, without the Vikings. And it's ironic because, again, there's a lot of pain associated with the franchise. We've never won the big one, fan has learned. I don't know if you know that. And, Gessling offered a good reminder today. He was on with the Project. We've talked about one negative that's lurking with this administration, and it's the obvious. It's as withered and wild as they allegedly are, and they get contract extensions and a great regular season this last year. You got nothing in the postseason. You don't have any playoff wins. And Gessling reminded us, in both the playoff games we lost under this regime, we were favored. I'd forgotten that. The Rams game, that ended up being a neutral site game, right? That got moved because of the brush fires. So that does also need to be factored in. Not only have we not won a playoff game, we have been favored in the last two. Lost the Giants here, right? That was the Daniel Jones game. Best game probably of Daniel Jones' career. To a large extent, probably did the Giants no favors because it convinced them that, we got something here. And I can't remember, where is Daniel Jones? That we wanted him. Remember, for a while, we wanted to bring him back because we had him late last year. Where did Danny Jones end up? Will you look up Daniel Jones? Because I've literally taken him out of the equation now that he's not one of us. It's like he's dead to me.
Indy.
That's right, Indy. So,
everything's better in Indy.
Is that what they say?
He's a part of it now.
Let's see what else we got here. Twins just stole third base in their first attempt this season. The average MLB team has 8 successful steals of third base. The Twins had 0 attempts till now. Rocco Small Baldelli practically needed to do it after pinch running for his hottest hitter, Royce Lewis, with 6 outs left, down 1. Took a double play with 0 out, bases loaded to scratch across a run, tie game. Better hope you don't need Royce's bat in extras. Weird baseball. That's from Flim Flam. He seems to still care. I give him credit. That's more emotion than I can work up on the Minnesota Twins at this particular juncture. So let me double check here. Let me do the refresh. The Twins are leading now. I have Twins up 3-2. Twins have scored twice in the 8th inning.
As a Harrison Bader single.
That got the go-ahead run, correct?
2. Oh, yes.
3-2.
So,
yeah.
Yep.
So, a chance. I think we said the Dodgers have been playing terribly. Dodgers have not been a particularly effective team. You ever seen a ball game at Chavez Ravine, Dodger Stadium?
I've not.
It is a great place. Now, I haven't been there in years. I don't know how well. I'm assuming they've done pretty well keeping it updated because they got all the money in the world. They got billions, right? But first trip I remember making to Dodger Stadium, it's impressive. The whole setting is impressive. Obviously, Southern California, just where the ballpark was, it sort of drops in to the geography. It's a good place to see a ball game, and they're obviously still a very good team as well. Let's see what else we got here very quickly via text. M. Rosen, this is from Clayton, Rochester, was at training camp today with the program, and it sounded like he was curled up in the fetal position after his chair got wet. Unlike last year when the old fast-to-act farmhand Kessler turned towels into sandbags and saved bumper to bumper. Kessie won, Rosie nothing. That's a good point. We did bring that up much earlier. Allegedly, they ended the show earlier. They went to a taped interview because the lightning strike nearby, and Rosen said, "I've had enough," and that was it. Does seem as if a lot of, I don't know, it sounds like Rosen didn't exactly want to fight through it, did he? Then again, lightning's dangerous.
Come on.
Lightning's dangerous. You don't want to mess with lightning, right? I would say. We've had that happen a couple times, the Great Minnesota Get-Together. And what year? Was it last year we got knocked off? We got knocked off the air at least once last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
It's usually once a year you have to put down
true.
the thing.
That's true.
Put down the shades.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, to be honest, I don't even agree with sometimes we shut everything down, because I think usually the equipment's actually pretty safe in there because it's pretty protected. And I don't like that. It's a very closed-in feeling, if you know what I mean, where it's easy to get a little claustrophobic in there. In fact, I think last year when we closed everything down, Guerin was in there with us.
I do.
Not only was Guerin, it was Guerin, and we had Alan Page on the phone. And then they began speaking. It was a nice radio moment involving the two of them, but that is my recollection at that point. What else we got? Dan, admittedly, I lean more right than left, but I wholeheartedly agree with you. Jimmy Fallon is willing to make fun of either side. Most will argue that he is more liberal than conservative, yet he is at least willing to take shots at both sides. His impersonation of President Trump is so good, it's hard not to laugh. That's Galway Dave checking in. Not really on point, but Colbert's character on the old Comedy Central show is brilliant and underappreciated. I'm a Jet, but also found the CBS show to be pandering and obvious. Holy crap, I finally figured out that I'm a Shark. Been listening for years, and I didn't know which team was which. Yeah, Republicans are Sharks in our political vernacular, and Democrats are the Jets. That's the way we do it on this program, in case people are confused. Kessler is in the house. Lots to catch up with him. And I'm going to try to rack his brain regarding our opening question for today's show as well. If you have questions and commentary, you can pass it along via the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line, which, as always, is 64686. Special K. Pat Kessler next here in the Fan.
I wish the American media would take a great look at the views of the people in Congress and find out, are they pro-America or anti-America?
Pat Kessler. Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook.
He's pudgy.
I can't trust Obama. He's an Arab.
Pat Kessler.
Tear down this wall.
I did nothing wrong at the Minneapolis airport.
I was so high.
Kennedy. Pat Kessler.
And now, to help Dan break down all the tough questions in politics, it's our own
I'm not going to do it.
political wonk.
I feel like a supermodel, except like times 10.
It's Channel 4's
Pat Kessler.
with Dan Barreiro on the Fan.
Why don't you go ahead? It feels like, Brett Blakemore, you've been collating and isolating some new Kessler sound.
What?
You started the show with it on the leader. Didn't you use one of them on the leader?
I did, yeah.
Why don't
What
you
is going
sample
on?
some of those so
No.
Kessler... Well, it's just so
Why do
you
you-
can hear... Well, they're not mocking you.
Oh, they're not. This is not mocking me.
No.
All right.
Example.
Example.
Smoke them if you got them.
That's an oldie
All
but a
right,
goodie.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
All right. What was the one you played at the start of the show? It was a different one. You don't even remember.
There's so many.
Doesn't
Killed
even
them.
remember.
Yeah, there's this.
Shot them. Killed them.
Man,
Skin it and eat it.
what's the next one?
Skin it and eat it.
Skin it and eat it.
Oh, squirrels.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, squirrels. Skin it and eat it.
What was the one you did early? It wasn't any of those, I don't think.
There's so many of them.
Have you had
are these all
squirrels
new?
too?
They're all within the past year or so.
Oh, I thought maybe we just haven't played many of these.
I just
but
have
thought
one
there were a bunch of new ones.
I
Yeah.
have one question.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because it amuses us.
I've had trouble ever since.
Well, makes sense.
That's not bad. I've had trouble ever since. So open-ended.
Are you not amused?
Can I do one more?
Yeah,
Here's this.
of course.
One toke over the line,
that's a
sweet
good one.
Jesus. One toke over the line.
Before you take us on the Colbert apology tour, pretending that this is some great travesty, let's first see if you can answer the weighty question I began the program with today under the classification of, well, let me get the exact wording just to be for the sake of consistency. That's an important thing. WWWDWF, what would we do without football? And when I say football, I mean pro football. Today's obviously Vikings' first day of training camp. And I've asked this question before. What would we do? What would, if it never existed for whatever reason, or, you could all say if it was taken away, but if it never existed, when you factor in how much time is concentrated, not just on radio stations like these, but, networks and, the bit, everybody on professional football, what would we have in its absence? What would be... Would it be other sports? Would it be something else culturally? What? It's hard to imagine, but it's an interesting question to me.
It's an existential question.
It is.
Very, very much so. And all we have to do is go back to Europe. What do they do in Europe? What do you do in China? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. Well,
we are so insulated in this country. We are in a bubble. I don't disagree with you that this is perhaps the most important topic in America. NFL football is, in my view, one of, if not the most powerful institution, influential.
I agree.
In this country. Back in the news day, I always used to say, sports is news and news is sports. And I am someone who advocates almost eliminating sports departments per se, because I believe the sports directors and stories about the NFL, for example, should be in the top section of the news. Now, having said that, I also believe that you could have a Viking story. Let's talk Vikings, Bears. Let's talk about the NFL. You could have a Viking story in the local newscast every single day of the year.
Correct.
And people would pay attention. So what would we do without it? Love our families, read great books.
No, you're wrong.
Listen to music.
As Glenn Mason would say,
worship the Lord.
You're wrong.
Is that what he would?
That's exactly what he would say.
So what do people do who don't like football?
I don't know.
What do they do?
Well, do those people exist? Are we sure those people exist anymore?
That's a very good question.
I guess there's a couple, but not very many.
Are there listeners to this program who don't like football?
Well, yeah, there's probably some, but I think
it's a great
ingrained.
question.
It's ingrained.
Whenever I hear just often in a restaurant somebody talking about the Vikes, I tune in. You're right. So it is ingrained in who we are. It's a trigger, like a Pavlov dog.
It's the great comfort food of our time.
Yes.
And I think it's bigger than it's ever been. Even though we have more information about how dangerous it might be, I don't think it matters. I think we had speaking of existential crises, we might have had one a few years ago when some of the concussion stuff came out.
Yes.
But we've ultimately decided to put that aside Or we've decided, well, yeah, some people have problems, but what the hell? This is too valuable. Are you kidding me? I got to have my football. I got to have my Sunday doubleheader.
Yeah.
And then I got to have the night game. I got to have the triple header, right?
Okay,
basically.
Yes. And it's to a point, and I'm sure it's this way with you because it is with me. I love the Vikes. I'm going to watch them.
Yes.
I will do, and I'll build my whole week and my whole day around it. But I'll watch the Browns.
Me too.
I'll watch the Chiefs.
Or at least be on the background. It has to be on. Yes.
I'm watching it.
And if it's a decent game, I'm going to start paying attention to it. Oh my God, looks like they got a chance to come back and win this game.
So we have the Gladiators, and we've set up the system for this. So the question is, answering the existential question, what would we do without it? Probably a lot. And does this hurt us to be so obsessed with this?
Well, it probably doesn't help us, but I'm
going to go home and read poetry.
I don't think if we had the extra time, though, that's what we would do. I think we would find something else frivolous. I just think that's human nature. Because I think the decision's been made. There's enough serious stuff I have to deal with. And so I have many options for my quote unquote escape time. And this is one of the ways that I do that. You might be writing Walt Whitman like poetry. Mm-hmm. For most people, it's, I want to watch Monday Night Football.
I am the body electric.
You are.
To quote Walt Whitman.
Walt Whitman, one of your favorites.
Yes, absolutely one of my favorites.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Was he the road not... No, Robert Frost was the road not taken guy, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
And I took the road less traveled by. That has made
who said that?
All the difference.
Oh, that was him.
Robert Frost.
Yeah, it was Robert Frost.
Yeah.
So it was called The Road Not Taken. But that's a line from it.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Because you always wonder about the road you did not take. Well, let me ask you this. It's one thing to look forward to football Sunday.
Yes.
I think about it all week. I do.
I do too.
I look forward to Thursday night. Fantastic.
Yes.
I love it at the end of the season when we have Saturday football. I mean, I'm
already the Vikings Monday night game in Chicago.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Should I go? Yeah, I mean,
you're thinking about going.
No,
aren't you?
Those are the thoughts that go through my head.
Yeah.
So the drama, the pathos, the bathos, everything about it. But is it healthy?
No, of course not.
I mean, so I'm going to go home and, hug my kids, make dinner, I'll read a bedtime story for, before they go to, all of that. I mean, there's many things to do, and we all know that. But I will say that this is the most influential power in our lives today.
Were you ever a heavy metal and or Ozzy Osbourne fan?
I'm going to guess no. Do I have FOMO about this? Because I'm looking at the tributes to Ozzy Osbourne. I was not a Black Sabbath guy.
I was not.
I loved some of the Headbanger stuff back in the day. I absolutely do. I mean, Paranoid. Did you ever bite the head off of a bat? He claims he did not know it was a real bat. He thought it was a prop.
Well, Bream reminded me. I guess this is accurate. It's John Bream that he had to take a bunch of rabies shots after he did it.
Yeah, I mean, honest to God. So
this was in Iowa.
No,
didn't it happen in Iowa?
I don't know.
My hometown.
Did it?
Des Moines.
Really?
Des Moines.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Well, here's the deal. So, no, I wasn't a Black Sabbath guy, in part because maybe mistakenly, I thought that this was all about the power of darkness and Satan and all.
Oh, come on. You did not.
I honest to God did.
You fell for all that?
I absolutely thought that's what the music was. So, no, I'm not interested in that. I did.
Did you burn his records?
Well,
One of those people?
What is his?
It's a bit.
Okay.
He said it. It's all bit.
The Prince of Darkness,
yeah,
right?
It's all, yeah.
All right. So his music goes off into two different directions.
Yes.
One is you had a lot of the satanic heavy metal bands that goes off in that direction.
Right.
I can't even remember the name of some of them. Our listeners will tell us what they are. And then you had some of these really hardcore riffs from a song like Paranoid. Da 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 da. That.
Yeah, right.
And then you have fantastic bands that go off in that direction, like Metallica.
True.
So I would go in that direction with Metallica, but now, I feel bad that I wasn't.
So you feel like you should have given it more of a chance, you're saying?
I do. And I'm looking at the tributes in England and Birmingham.
Bunch of them, yeah.
And in Birmingham, where it looks like You would think one of the Beatles died.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge. They got hundreds of reporters there.
Well,
I have FOMO about
Did you
it.
see the video that circulated since the news broke yesterday? It's an old video. I don't exactly know what year it was when he apparently met McCartney for the first time.
I have seen it.
Okay.
Yes.
And it is, I mean, people don't believe it today. I think they have a hard time relating to this. But in all seriousness, the number of musicians and singers who quite literally say the first time they heard a Beatles song or the first time they saw them perform, maybe at Sullivan Show, whatever, changed everything for them. It literally was. It sounds trite. Oh, come on. But people today don't believe it because it's such a different world then than it is now. It's much more closed. But he was another one. It's like, that's it. It's like a light bulb went off and said, I don't want to do anything else.
This is what I
want to be in rock and roll in one form or another. Right?
And I saw a story in which he listed his top 10 Beatles songs, and the first one was Twist and Shout.
Twist and Shout, yeah.
And that's what sent him off. But Eleanor Rigby, all of those ones.
Right.
But looking at that video, where it was late in life, where he meets Paul McCartney for the first time, it was like 20 years ago, and he's trembling.
Right, yeah.
He is so overcome with emotion to meet the person that launched him creatively on his life path. And McCartney could not have been more gracious.
Yeah,
and it was really cool.
He's used to it. That's the thing. I mean, if you're McCartney...
Well, he knows who Ozzy is.
Yeah, that's true. But what I'm saying is he's probably been through that a million times where he almost knows how to process somebody coming up to him and saying, you're the reason I got into the business. You know, because he's been told it, I'm sure, over the course of his life, literally dozens and dozens of times, if not more often than that.
And then Ozzy's a survivor.
Yes.
In that he is somebody...
Did you watch the TV show?
I did not. I mean, I saw...
Because I did.
I did watch
I got into it for the first couple of years.
Yeah.
And I had no interest in his music, but I was interested in the show. I did enjoy the program.
He's just like us.
Yes, exactly.
A befuddled father.
Yes.
That's exactly what...
With everything's kind of happening around him and to him.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
And his wife was really the straw that stirs the drink, right? She kind of kept the whole thing together.
Yeah, she was, and kept his life together.
Sharon Osbourne?
Yeah, Sharon Osbourne.
Yeah.
And so...
How many times should he have died?
Well, starting in 1970, probably once or twice a year.
Who should have died
He
more?
was fired by Sabbath.
That's the idea. Yeah,
for
not showing up for a gig.
Yeah,
he missed a gig.
Yeah.
Who should have died more often, or who did die more often? Ozzy Osbourne or Keith Richards?
Well, Keith is going to outlive all of us.
Yes, he is.
So people wonder about that, but he's going strong. So those are the two right there.
They're the ones where you go, how is it possible that they're still with us?
Yeah.
Well, one of them now isn't, but was.
Yeah, I mean, so I do, as he became part of our culture, and I think the reality show really did help, as he became more part of our culture, we become more accepting of this, and he becomes normalized to us. But he wasn't the guy from 1970. He's somebody completely different. So when he meets the Queen, you've seen that video, Queen Elizabeth, and she does a double take.
Yes,
and she knows who Ozzy Osbourne is.
Of course.
And who doesn't. And she does a double take, which was really quite charming for both of them. And he bows. So, yeah, I did not invest enough time in him, and I have no regrets in life. But, you think, oh, man, I probably should have paid more attention.
All right. There's a lot on your plate that I want to get to. We'll have time to get to most of these stories, I think, at least in miniature. So give me your I think, well, I don't know. I don't want to prejudice the case. You tell me what I've talked a lot about Colbert the day it broke, and then not so much the last few days, and then I did again a lot today. I'm not a fan. I've never been all that. I was a lot more captivated with him in his previous role, to be honest with you. But you may have different thoughts on this. So regarding his, whatever you want to call it, dismissal, and the show now, I guess, is the brand is also being canceled, right? There's not going to be, it's not just that he's done, there's not going to be a replacement, right? Late night as a franchise is apparently going away, at least for now. We'll see if that might change. So what is your what is your deal? What's your position on the whole Colbert story.
I think he's brilliant. I think he is somebody who is one of our finest comedians in America. I think there is something to this. The CBS fired Colbert as a signal to Trump. I honest to God believe that. And this, we don't know what all is in the agreement that Paramount has with President Trump in this $16 million settlement of the lawsuit, this crazy, ridiculous lawsuit that Trump filed against CBS for 60 Minutes.
Don't blame me for that. Blame CBS.
Exactly.
CBS should never have gone down that road.
Saying. There
was not fodder.
Totally agree.
That the old CBS would never have even considered. Now I know, again, it's quid pro quo. Get it. But that
so they settle with him because Skydance wants to buy CBS and Paramount and all of that.
Correct.
And there are things we still don't know that are in this settlement, and among them, Trump has been calling. I know he has, for Colbert's firing. So why not just do it now? What the hell? I'm just going to do it now. Having said that, late night television is over.
Yeah, I know. Which is sad.
That is the issue here.
And why is it over?
Although I don't like that he's being canceled like this in the way he has, and I'm a little uncomfortable with the way people are mourning the passing as if so
he'll be fine.
He's going to be fine. He's going to end up somewhere and make a lot more money.
So why?
Here's what I believe is happening. It's dying because the audience members are now switching to other platforms. Back in the day.
What? Podcasts? What?
Streaming, podcasts, YouTube. The only thing that's left on late night is SNL. That's all that's left. Think about this. And we're talking late night.
True.
On Fox, they do have Gutfeld, but he's not late night. He's at 9 o'clock in prime time, and he's doing really well and getting more audience than any of these guys. But the audience has dropped tremendously over just the last few years. Now, in the finances tell the story of this. In 2018, all of the late night shows were making $400 million a year. Now they're making $200 million. His show.
I can do that math.
Yeah, exactly.
That's quite a reduction.
So think about that. Half of it. His show costs.
Well, plus what it costs to put on a show.
$100 million
like
to produce.
Well, was the Letterman show that expensive? In dollars, if you compare?
I can't answer that question, so I don't know. But I will tell you that it costs $100 million to produce Colbert. And it's making now $60 million.
Right. So
there's a $40 million.
That's called a shortfall.
So, he had a 4 million person audience before COVID. Now it's 2 million. So, and he doesn't have the demographics for the ads.
Right.
So the numbers are not adding up, and not just for him, but also for Kimmel, also for Fallon. And I believe we are ending this.
That's too bad.
This romance we've had with late night television, this shared experience. That we've had, the shared culture before going to bed.
Call me a dreamer, but I'm not the only one.
Not the only one.
Call me a dreamer, but I would like to hold on to the possibility, the notion that this is a perfect storm of changing demographics and changing listening habits, and that I don't think any of them are that good. I just don't. And I can't say, well, who you want there, Dan? Carson's dead. You can't bring back Carson. Those days are over. Dick Cavett's too old at this point. All the old guys are done. Letterman is not going to come back to doing this. You have to shave the beard. He's not going to do that at this point. I like to hold on to the possibility that there's somebody out there who could better, I think, juggle the combination of, occasionally being edgy with making people laugh and enjoy what at its best I think late night could offer. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's done. If it is the end of that era completely, I think that's unfortunate because it was one of the few places where you could say you go where you think a decent number of people were all meeting. It was
a monoculture.
Yes.
And it's now been fractured. I think that's a really sweet dream that you have. And sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? But they have, it's all fractured now. So it is the end of our shared culture. Back in the day, kids look it up, Johnny Carson, he could be edgy with, everyone though.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun, a lot of A lot of sex talk that was very daring.
Innuendo.
Very daring.
And Margaret comes out in a tight sweater.
Oh, my
and
God.
Raquel
Welch.
Raquel Welch, yeah, exactly.
But at his peak, and he would have 17 million viewers a night.
Carson?
Yeah.
Think about that.
And so on average, and he hit all of the demographics, and that's all it's about, people. It's about money and about who the advertisers can sell to. He had an average, even on a bad night, of 9 million viewers. And think about this. It's 2 million, 1.3, 1.4 with Kimmel, Colbert, and Fallon. And so how many people watched Johnny Carson's last show? 50 million people.
50 million.
So we don't have that shared culture anymore, and I think we've fractured ourselves. And
what about Conan? Did he save late night?
I thought Conan was awesome. That was one of the worst effing decisions. He's one of my favorites, and that was one of the worst decisions I think broadcast television ever made. He would have been great. Who can sustain this, though? You think about this. This is not just like walking into a show and just winging it. This is hard work, morning to early in the morning till late at night. So, who can keep this pace up? And it's a very difficult thing to do. I don't know of anybody. I would have said Conan. Absolutely, that's a great suggestion.
All right, what do we have the final Nicole Mitchell schedule on when indeed she will resign? And are you buying this notion that she needs to wait? Somebody, I mentioned the excuse about, well, you want to make sure your staff's in place. Somebody texted me, or maybe even somebody tweeted this out, that, well, if you're staff, you're safe anyway. It's not like you have to be looking for a position. You're actually protected to a certain degree. So I don't know. Is there any reason why she shouldn't have already resigned? Or
no,
what do we
there's no reason. There's no reason she shouldn't have resigned, and possibly have resigned a year ago when all of this first began.
Well,
now, I understand
let the system play out.
You get your day in court, but Republicans showed a lot of courage in ousting, forcing one of their own to resign, the Senator Eichhorn, who was arrested in a sting which you could, it was a horrible, terrible thing.
The devil's in the details there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, they forced it. True. They didn't let it play out.
Right.
They said, no, we're not going to have this.
Yeah,
So the Democrats, you got to have that one extra vote because they control the Senate 34-33. If she resigned, then you'd have
back to even.
Yeah. So I think
is this a seat that's safe for the Dems or not?
It is half. It's half and half. You have 2 House districts in there. It leans Democratic, but in a normal election year. But when it's a special election, fewer people come out to vote, and you can motivate your base a lot faster and a lot quicker. Now, she has brought, you could say, disrepute and dishonor on this particular Senate seat. So I would not rule out a Republican winning. I'd say it's not likely, but this is going to be pushed back. Now, I want to say something about the finding of people to, how many people does a Minnesota senator have? You've got maybe an office person to at the door, and you might have 1 legislative aide. So that's 2 people. So, it's not like a staff of 10 or a staff of 20. They're going to be absorbed into the Democratic caucus, and they're going to find a place for them. I think more pertinent is that she said, I need to find health insurance for my son, so I need a couple of weeks to do that. Now, again, I feel terrible about that, and that's too bad. However, for the next few weeks, the good citizens of Woodbury and Maplewood are going to have a convicted felon representing them. So it's not a good look. And I tend to agree with the Republicans who say she promised to resign right away when this happened, if she was convicted, and there you go. I listened to the trial. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to any of it.
No, it's quoted from it, but yes.
It just isn't plausible.
No.
And she was convicted by a jury of her peers, so there it is.
This wasn't on your list. This text came in. Dan, will you be asking Pat about the evidence released by Tulsi Gabbard last Friday indicating Barack Obama's involvement in Russiagate? And my reply, which this individual didn't like, was This is a nothing burger, as even noted by longtime Russiagate narrative critic Eli Lake, a righty, a confirmed righty, who has written extensively that he doesn't believe that Gabbard has the goods, that the notion that she got some stuff here that I'll go back to the Woodward and Bernstein quote when the editor-in-chief of that fine newspaper, they think they've advanced the Watergate story extensively, and the editor of the newspaper played beautifully by, who was the actor?
Ben Bradley.
Ben Bradley, who played Bradley. I can see him. He's just a terrific actor. We'll find it in a minute. Okay. They're all excited. They think we got it. We nailed it.
We nailed it. Yeah.
And he's sitting there. He's got his feet up, and he's got
Jason Robards.
Yeah. Robards got the paper, and he page one right away. He's editing. He's making changes, and he puts that down. He gets to page 2, and he makes a couple of changes. He gets to page 3, reads that, looks up at him. He says, "You haven't got it. You don't have the story." And they're both bitter. Bernstein's like, "It's a damn important story." He's like, and of course, then he just gets Robards just gives him the look. Like, you realize who you're talking to here, man? Shut up. This isn't it. You don't have it. I don't think there's reason to believe that Tulsi Gabbard had it. If you agree with me, you're going to probably further annoy Texter, who is very unhappy with my position on that. To which you say what?
This is jaw-droppingly absurd. To accuse President Obama of treason, which is punishable by death, and refer this criminal case to the Department of Justice is just one more chaotic misdirection of this particular administration, the Trump administration. I just want to talk about this, that the House report details information that before all of this, there has been 2 investigations, one by an independent counsel, another one by the bipartisan Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee, that unanimously agreed that there was no political interference, and then there was and President Obama himself said that there were no votes that were hacked. So I don't know what they're doing here. I watched the press conference this afternoon in which she says that they have evidence of Hillary Clinton's, I'm going to quote here, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? There is no evidence. She says, look at the evidence. The evidence does not show this that we have so far. So, I don't know, man. This appears to be one more distraction, like changing the name of the commanders back to the Washington Epsteins. I mean, what are we doing here?
I don't think Tim agrees. He's the one that asked me, and then I responded. He says, LOL, okay. Sitting president uses unelected bureaucrats in the CIA to stage a year-long coup against the new president. Yes,
it's
quite the nothing burger.
Come on, man.
Just saying.
I mean, come on.
You want to fight with him? I'm done with it.
I mean, this was investigated independently by the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee. Come on, people.
All right,
let's look at this for what it is.
We're very late.
Weapon of mass distraction.
You might be able to win him back over with some commentary regarding the $70 pastrami sandwiches at the Minnesota DFL mayoral convention. We'll get to that and much more when Kessler returns in.
Gear up for a hilarious night when Dane Cook returns to the Island Event Center. See his legendary style of stand-up comedy live at Treasure Island Friday, October 24th. Get all the details now, TICasino.com.
Hey, I spoke too soon. You are getting ripped. But we'll save those for later. Kessler is back with us. All right, before we get to the way the comment program ended today, because I think the sound has been captured by Brett Blakemore, let's talk about the mayoral, whatever you want to call it, DFL
endorsing convention.
Endorsing convention, I guess that's exactly what it was, where the pastrami's were $70 originally. The schnitzel sandwich was, I think, 65, and I think the chicken kebab was 55.
Right.
Now, they may have changed that. I don't know, after we had some fun with it last week. But what's going on? I mean, you asked that earlier about something. What are we doing? What? In all seriousness, the system that we're supposed to be used was flawed from the beginning. I know you can say, well, Fry, they left because it wasn't going their way, so they didn't want a quorum for that reason, whatever. But none of it sounded like... none of it, I guess the best word to describe it would be dogs and cats living together. Extremely chaotic, with no real there. And to me, another example, you know, you're a big Pat Garofalo guy, aren't you? You cover him forever.
I think he's really good.
So Garofalo made a point, because somebody was ripping, saying, let's do away with the caucus nonsense in these places because it plays to the extremes. And he said, I'd like to pounce on this, but he said, we do it too. He said, I think we should do away with the caucuses, period. So what happened, and why should anybody in the city of Minneapolis feel good about that process?
Well, I wonder if the Minneapolis Democrats and the DFL party can do anything right. They had this convention that was confusing. It was chaotic. It endorsed the Democratic Socialist Omar Fatah. And it was so confusing that there were, I'm looking at the numbers, there were 1,000 delegates. And it took 7 hours for the first ballot. 7 hours.
Well, they were running out of time. Their rental time was about, they were about to get booted out of Target Center.
And I'm going to get to that, but the first ballot, and they're voting on their cell phones, and the guy who's in charge of it, behind the scenes, in charge of tallying the votes, has a medical emergency, has to leave. So the first ballot, there were only 578 votes cast for mayor. Who are we going to endorse? Even though there were 1,000 delegates, and like the Fry people are going, what the hell? Wait a minute. And by this time it's 7:00 at night, and nobody is. Omar is winning this, the Democratic Socialist, and the incumbent mayor is thinking, man, we're not going to be part of this here. And so they are leaving. And by the end of the convention, how they tallied the votes was because they tried to do paper ballots or proposed paper ballots, and they wouldn't allow them to do this. And then they said, okay, everybody hold up your badges and wave them if you're for this guy. Just wave them in the air.
Very scientific.
Yeah, wave it in the air. And that's what they did. This takes me back to a couple of years ago. Remember at the DFL convention, the Minneapolis DFL convention, where they had to call the cops in because there were fist fights and people turning over tables. And it was almost like a comedy show where you punch somebody in the nose and they fall on top of the coffee table and it goes down. I mean, they had to call the cops to the last one. So in any event, Mayor Fry is going to challenge the results of this. He's asking the state DFL party to intervene. Meanwhile, there's a lot of pearl clutching over the Democratic Socialist candidate who wins the endorsement, even if it's flawed. He's got the endorsement right now unless something else happens.
How often has that endorsement meant anything? Well,
they haven't had an endorsement mean anything for probably almost 20 years. I think that Sharon Sells Belton, a friend of the program, somebody who was a really good public servant, I thought, she was beaten by R.T. Ryback in a primary. Many of these candidates, including Fry, have had to run in a primary in order to win. So no one has won this for quite some time. Now, the caucus itself, why do we have this? Back in the day, 50, 75 years ago, they figured that this was a way to get regular people who don't make a lot of money, able to get them involved in politics and actually be elected to office as a public servant. And it was a good idea at the time, but I think that might have passed us. I've been at conventions, Republican and Democrat, as Garofalo says, that they do kind of strange things where you have to break down into walking sub-caucuses, like you've got the LGBTQ, you've got the farmers, you've got the no perfume caucus, and you all band together and vote for candidates. I mean, it's goofy. And so it's very hard to follow as a reporter, too. Just very, very difficult. But where it is right now is that they are, if this goes the way it's going in other parts of the country, Minneapolis, which is a great city, has endorsed a Democratic socialist for mayor, someone who wanted to defund the police. He wanted to dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department, and you could argue that public safety is the number one issue.
Jacob Fry is Barry Goldwater in this town right now, based on many of the other.
How does that
city
happen?
council, which is bizarre.
This guy's a liberal.
I got to get to this. I don't know if you even saw it. I'm glad Goat Guy brought it to my attention. It's a Wall Street Journal exclusive that broke really about 2:00. When Justice Department officials reviewed what Attorney General Pam Bondi called a truckload of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein earlier this year, they discovered that Donald Trump's name appeared multiple times, according to senior administration officials. In May, Bondi and her deputy informed the president at a meeting in the White House that his name was in the Epstein files, the official said. Many other high-profile figures were also named, Trump was told. Being mentioned in the records isn't a sign of wrongdoing. Officials said it was a routine briefing that covered a number of topics. The files contained what officials felt were unverified hearsay about many people, including Trump, who had socialized with Epstein in the past. So I don't know. Again, I guess the details are what matter. What exactly does this, specifically does this implicate him? That's because the Wall Street Journal has obviously been pretty aggressive in covering this story. The president's already decided, he's already said he's going to sue them for the last story, which had to do with the photos or with the drawing, right? The birthday card.
I don't write any drawings.
I don't write any drawings, even though he's
done many. Okay, so here's the thing. Wall Street Journal, a decidedly conservative newspaper, one of the finest journalistic institutions in America, is reporting, that in May, it was the Attorney General, Bondi, who told Trump his name was in the files, even though Trump has said in the last couple of days, no one ever told me that. So there are hundreds of other names, as you mentioned.
Yes.
And it does not indicate wrongdoing, but it does indicate, once again, the really deep, frequent connections close bestie connections that Donald Trump had with Jeffrey Epstein.
And a bunch of others, frankly.
Well, no, I'm gonna, but that's a whole nother thing.
Right.
So, I mean, Bill Clinton was on the plane. Alan Dershowitz, Bill Gates. I mean, I get all that. But the guy who can release all the files is not doing it because his name is in there. Nobody's accusing him of doing anything illegal, although they want to see a list of all the people who were clients. And I think that's reasonable. Nobody's accusing Trump of doing that, but it's embarrassing. His name comes up in a lot of the investigative reports. That's what should be released. The investigative
that's what
reports.
should be released. The CNN thing last night, he's in a couple photos, was dumb to me.
Ridiculous.
By the way, we're really late. Do we have time to play the sound from the end of the Common program?
Real quick.
Let's listen.
Turned on this team, I think.
I haven't. I'm watching him. I'll go home this afternoon. And, okay, I'm out of here. That's it. The lightning that just
gone?
hit. Oh, yeah, okay.
It was only about a couple hundred yards from here.
Really? How do you are you going to roll that stuff?
Meanwhile,
crack
all right, that's enough. Meanwhile, last year we're doing the show. You're out there with us at TCO, and it gets bad. But what do? We say we'll go into the tent and continue the show there, where you had to build man-made dams to stop the water from coming in to the tent.
We're in the tent, and there are 25, 30 tables with tablecloths on them. I tear the tablecloths off, leaving all the dishes intact on top of the tables, and start making dams, rolling them up.
You saved us.
You
may have saved our lives.
And then
because of the possibility of
water kept
electrocution.
Creeping closer, and I'd grab more. And by the end of it, I was pretty much at the feet of Gardsey and Barreiro.
You grabbed more while you weren't eating all those free snacks available to you that you kept grabbing behind the kitchen.
Open.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you definitely
kitchen
enjoy that
wide
too.
open.
All right, we got to go. We're very late.
Wide shut.
We'll see you at TCO.
I sure
you
hope
wouldn't
so.
miss it.
I sure hope so.
Pat Kessler, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock on Channel 4 back in...
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
Very eclectic program today. Kessler, we just wrapped up with him. In addition, today, Gerald Posner on a number of subjects that got a lot of people going. And that was between, 4 and about 4:30 or so. And a really good Vikings primer with Peter Bursich. That was early in the show at about 3:30. All of it podcastable, downloadable, and listenable at one point or another. Tomorrow, the plan is, weather permitting, of course, that Guardsy and I will be at training camp ourselves. Our first day, Kevin O'Connell among our scheduled guests. I'm sure we'll talk to an ink-stained wretch or two as well. And maybe, who knows, maybe we get a player. I don't know. I don't want to be greedy, but it's certainly a possibility. So all those things on the table for tomorrow's show. We hope you'll watch then. We hope you'll listen then. Talk to you tomorrow at 3 o'clock right here in the Fan.
All night. Sayonara, suckers!